I mean, this is the Josh Rock theme song right here.
No, Joel, hello, let's go.
I mean,
Have you watched the whole documentary?
I haven't because I'm struggling. I'm struggling with his health is not good, and so I'm struggling with it all, and so I'm just emotionally not ready for it. So good morning, by the way. How are you, buddy? Great to see you.
You too, man. As you can tell, I'm not Jackye.
You guys are like
Even in my
super
byline
similar,
down below.
so yeah, I would think that people need to know because visually it's super easy to think you're the same. And actually, Jackye may be watching. So good morning to everybody. As you may notice, again, Jackye is not with us. She sends her love. She is fine. She will be sharing her journey when she joins us again. So I'm just letting you know she's fine. She sends her love. She's coming back. I didn't cause her to quit. I promise. Despite the rumors, by the way, thank you for some of the text messages accusing me of driving her away from the show. Very untrue and very hurtful. So thank you for that. I mean, I'm like, hi, I barely know you. Thank you for this DM to tell me what have I done to her.
I mean, at least HR sliding into your DMs.
I mean, I'm like, I live in Florida. She lives in Texas. It isn't convenient. I don't have her hidden somewhere. This isn't some awful Lifetime movie. Like, come on, everybody. Give me a break here. Seriously. We have the fabulous, for those that are unfamiliar with Josh Rock, which I don't know how they can.
How can that happen?
Right. Can we have the 30-second on Josh Rock for people who are unfamiliar with you and your outstanding work?
It's not even going to take 30 seconds. My name is Josh Rock, as John just said. I am the talent acquisition manager for a Mack and Volvo heavy-duty truck dealership in Minnesota. I'm a former Minnesota SHRM State board member, leader of Job Hunt Chat, which was the longest-standing job advice chat on Twitter. That goes back a ways, pre-COVID.
Yes.
So yeah, well, to you and I, on the most influential HR list from Social McCall. I mean, come on.
Yes.
We're homies on that, along with friends in our chat, Jessica Chung in Canada.
Yes, it did cross country borders. That
Jeff was,
yes. And Jeff was on it as well. Yes, we were both named this week to the HR most inclusive list that Social McCall put out. We are thank you, McCall, for that, by the way. Very kind.
Thank you.
Very awesome. Jessica, who is also on that list, but wants to make sure that she's lobbing bombs at me. Vengeance knows no borders. Amazing. These are the kinds of nasty messages that I'm getting from people. Thank you.
That's the stuff that we get from, across the border, apparently.
And these are my friends. Let me just make sure that I say that. These are my friends who are accusing me of some criminal activity. Amazing. Yeah. Today is like the most ideal time for you to be co-host with me today because we're talking all things talent acquisition. But I do want to have a few minutes on some of the headlines. So I would love your thoughts on the recalibration of job numbers, down, about $911,000 off, 911,000, excuse me, that we were off in terms of job numbers. What did you think of that?
Honestly, when it comes to the numbers, I don't freaking care. Let's just put it out there. I
should have told you what my guess was going to be that your answer was, and that was my guess. So
that's exactly right. Because you know what? Most things that come out of Washington are drivel. Most things coming out of the media are drivel. So who cares? You know what? What matters to me when it comes to job reports is what do I have to hire for tomorrow?
Right.
Who's coming in? Who's going out? I don't care about everybody else across the country when it comes to job numbers. Granted, is it good to have perspective? Sure. I get that.
Yep.
But the numbers are delayed. Well, we're talking about the number of jobs that were created Forget that. Let's talk about the number of layoffs that are happening across the country. Let's talk about the leaders that haven't had the forethought to adjust their business to manage the staff that they have so they don't have to have mass 3-figure, 4-figure layoffs. That's the stories we should be talking about.
It's so interesting to me because, yes, I mean the gathering of information, it is really difficult, and I don't work for state government, so nobody at me, but it is really cumbersome to put these numbers together. Remember, when we talk about things like unemployment, you mentioned, right, layoffs, that sort of thing. Remember that the numbers for unemployment are reflective of those who are receiving an unemployment benefit on any given month. That person, that data point goes into the total number, which then affects the percentage that is put out in news circulation. It's not really fully honest all the time. And I don't have an answer for this, because if someone falls off of receiving unemployment benefit, even if they are not employed, they just stop receiving benefit, they ran out 13 weeks, 26 weeks, whatever it is, they finished their unemployment benefit, they fall off that number. There's no way to know, if they've been hired somewhere else without doing a whole lot of digging by social and new hire reporting, which is not going to happen. 2, there are people that choose to not return to the workforce for whatever reasons, the traditional workforce. Maybe they have, during that unemployment season, become a caregiver for mom or dad, right? Or another family member. Or they're a newer parent in some way, or they've made a decision to adjust the way in which home is. Maybe one parent is choosing to stay home. I don't know, whatever the things are. And so some individuals then will collect their unemployment, and when that runs out, they're not returning to the workforce because they've made that. Those data points are really hard to capture, right? So they are not a part of this. On the jobs number standpoint, there's a bit of smoke and mirrors when you talked about layoffs. Those of you who have listened to me for any length of years, I talk about the Verizon layoff model, which is, you hire people, you have them work at a certain role in a certain way within Verizon. When they reach a certain compensation level, Verizon decides that they need to do layoffs. They lay those people off. They retool the job description and title slightly and start to hire all over again for that role at a lower price point because they've retooled the job description, and they still get the same work done and save money. That's tough to sort of say is a real new job as opposed to sort of a relabeled job. So some of this stuff is just kind of all over the place.
Well, United Health Group used to do the exact same thing, or very similar, in the fact that they would go through a hiring cycle, a layoff cycle, hire cycle. And it was just on and on and on, years on end. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. Now, I think our buddy Tim Sackett, I think he threw this out.
Diet do.
What'd you say?
It said #Diet Do. It's what first coffee, but
did you bring your Diet Do this morning? I was going to ask you. Do you have it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, so you opened the bottle and put it in the cup.
Well, I had to show off.
Or did you just do that for this?
So, John, every morning when you do this, you have a mug of usually some HR tech sponsor that's on brand. That's what you do. I stayed on brand and made sure that mine was hockey related.
I see that.
So yes, my Diet Do is in here, so that way I merged with your, your style, your process.
You can hold it up again because you were mirrored. There we go. It's better. Winter Classic. There we go.
Thanks, Jamie.
Now, first of all, I did that, so back off. Secondly, I do want to make sure, to your point, payroll partners, David Noah, and that team. Now, they sent me a new payroll partners mug. I had to go back to the old one because the new one arrived in pieces. And so I am so sorry about that, because it was a nice mug, very hardy, and I like robust mugs. The mail apparently does not like robust mugs because it was fully shattered. So it was pretty amazing. I mean, full. The guy literally came in with the boxes, our mail. our mail package delivery guy. And as he's walking, you heard it jingling the pieces. I'm not joking.
Was there an I'm sorry as he delivered it?
No. Everybody in the office is like watching him walk by with this jingling package. And I was like, awesome. He didn't say 2 words, just handed it to me and left. I'm like,
and he did it with a smile, likely.
No smile.
No smile. No,
must have been a bad day. Yeah. Must have been, but you can get one of the But First now. This is Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. You can get one of the But First.
To our friends, listening, here on our lovely video today, Kyra and Jess are literally thinking that there is something else other than Diet Dew in my mug.
At
night at a hockey game, there might be Tito's or something in there, but today at work, come on.
I mean, let's be honest. It's not unusual. I mean, obviously, even pre-pandemic, we had shared workspaces that had like kegs of beer and all kinds of stuff. So people were drinking all day long. Yeah. I went to a workplace I think it was my first time that I saw, must have been 2014, 13, something like that. The refrigerator in the workplace there was not a scrap of food or someone's Tupperware to be found. It was completely full with various beers, bottles of beer, and vodka in the freezer. And I was like, wow, like there's no like, hey, we've got a few beers in the back. Fully stocked with a variety of beers. So, just saying.
I mean, I remember my days when I was in the staffing industry. I had a bottle of something in my desk drawer to celebrate Friday.
Those people drink.
Yeah.
Y'all, everybody here from staffing, cheers to you. You all knock it down for sure. I do want to ask you, though, again, in keeping with what we're talking about, you've been doing talent acquisition for a couple of years.
A few years.
There's so much stuff that's been talked about so far this year, right? We're 2/3 through the year.
Yeah.
Is it all about AI? Is that the trend that's going to just continue for next year, or do you want to just throw up?
You know what, John? Now that you brought up AI, I really should go back here and grab one of my hockey sticks and really tee off a shot or two. I'm ready to. I mean, you know what? Let's just go.
Go. Okay, do it.
What's next week? Next week is HR Tech, right?
Yeah. I will be there. You're coming? No,
I won't be there. I know. Hey, but
why can't you come?
Our good friend Nicole will be there.
Oh no, you'll be. Are you going to Rising?
I'm not going to Rising. I'm going to be home. I can't. If I were to go to Rising, my partner and we'll be busy working. So there's nothing for me to do at Rising.
You go see Duran, that's for sure. I'm so jealous about that.
Eli Young Band would be more my speed.
Duran. Going to Rising. I'm with you. I'm telling you, better entertainment. Anyway, so next week is HR Tech. I'm so sorry.
HR Tech next week. So we're gonna tee off. You brought it up. Let's go. So you know what? As a practitioner, you can imagine my inbox every day from every HR Tech company telling me about their new AI. You know what? Shut up. Because you know what? If you don't have AI in your HR technology, there's something wrong with you. So it's implied that you have it. So quit telling me that it's brand new. It's not. If you don't have it, something's wrong.
That's a t-shirt, just so you know. Yep. You know what? Shut up.
Let me tell you about my AI. Back of the shirt. Shut up.
I want that shirt.
So what we need to see from our HR Tech friends is less about the show. What is it? Why is it new? Why is it innovative? Show me how it's going to make my job easier. Give me best practices. Stop telling me about it. Show me how it's going to actually make my work easier. Go one step further.
Now,
I don't want the pitch anymore. I'm done.
But if you've been on some of these, so now, I mean, I'll go. And by the way, those are millions of fans. If you have been seeing some of these demos or have been on some webinars with some companies. I'm going to try not to say specific companies. We'll see how I do. I don't trust myself. I would love for you to chime in when it comes to AI. We have to start there, right? As sort of a continuous trend. Like, we're going to keep hearing the language. Everybody and their mother next week, to Josh, to your point, is going to have AI slapped on their backdrops everywhere. So I'm going to see it at every booth. But let's talk about sourcing software to start with, because I'll just pick one piece, right? Huge push for AI related set apart for all of these sourcing companies. And I'm not going to say all their names. I'm telling myself that more than anything else. They are showing the way in which they're utilizing AI to make your sourcing job easier. So they're showing this in the demos. If I'm listening to you, though, are you not believing that, or are you thinking it doesn't really do anything to my flow of work?
Well, it's gonna be dependent upon what I'm using. I mean, so a lot of our friends out here in the HR tech space have one product and a premium product. Oftentimes, some of these new tools that they're putting in are only on the premium product. You must upsell. You must do this. Well, guess what? In our current state, where many of our companies are going through layoffs or tightening our belts, we can't afford we're not going to change to a premium model. So what you're doing is you're handcuffing the people. I want to see what your new AI functionality is in the model that I'm using, not in the upsell. You're not my partner at that point. You're a salesperson. Yeah. I don't need a salesperson. Most of the vendors that I work with each and every day, they know right out of the gate, they don't need to sell me. The way to my wallet is to partner with me. That's the difference.
So let me ask you this then. So if we're talking about trends, is that, in your opinion, then the way in which talent acquisition technology should go? Look to be more partner than product.
Yeah. I mean, that we look at HR, and this has been since back when I was a vendor. So for those of you that don't know, I was a vendor before I was a practitioner. Yes. I was a vendor for 10 years.
Yes. Plus. OnlyFans. Yes.
Only hiring.
Is that what you're talking about?
Onlyhiring.com. What?
Oh, that.
Only recruiting. Yes. Only recruiting. Only recruitment advertising. No, not OnlyFans. John and his feet pics we'll just leave to a whole nother day.
Listen, those days are done.
I know where you get your spending, bud. Your travel budget.
It's not going so well. The feet they're definitely aging. Yeah.
Well, you're going into winter, so you're gonna be less tan.
The winter in Florida is brutal, so that's a good point.
Yeah. Versus Minnesota. Let's really get into that, John.
You can barely tell the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Can you tell the tan between our two heads? Come on. But yes, HR doesn't buy anything, statistically. They're non-buyers by trade. And so where I've always moved the relationship or the conversation is partner with me, don't sell me.
Yeah.
I will buy more when we partner to my strategic benefit than you just pushing a product to me. I mean, I get 30 emails a day from staffing agencies. Come on.
Yeah.
I literally posted a brand new job last night, and there's 15 inboxes or 15 emails regarding that requisition alone this morning.
About recruiters that want to work on the job for you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Less than 24 hours.
Yeah, I believe that.
And it's like they don't tell me why or how. They just want to do it. There's not, hey, let's have a conversation about why you need this position or what strategic benefit is going to be to the organization. It's, can we partner? Let me show you what my business can do. So that aside, it's not about how do we work together. It's, let me send you these resumes. But HR tech vendors are very much the same. AI is a hot button. Let me show you this.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with what are your strategic goals to your organization and how will my product align? That's where the benefit comes in. That's where the partnership is.
I had a conversation yesterday. I have so much to share today. Let me just, by the way, I didn't mention this. I will own this at the moment. I am I don't feel 100%. I don't mean that physically. I mean that mentally. Today is always a tough day for me with 9/11 remembrance. It's just a very difficult day. And then just all of the Charlie Kirk thing and the Minnesota lawmakers and like all the politicalness on both sides. I'm just like so weary that I feel it in my soul. I like yesterday was the tipping point for me. So I'm just kind of putting it there because I just may be off a little bit today. So if anybody picks up on that, particularly people that know me well, that's what is happening in my soul, and I'm very unsettled, and I probably could cry in like, the drop of a hat, just so everybody knows. So that I want to make sure I say. On top of all that, though, I will say that my youngest child got engaged over this past weekend, which was like amazing to be at this stage of life where kids are going to start getting married and that good stuff. So we're happy. We love it. It was beautiful. He did it on the beach and she was totally surprised and we were all there and it was great. It was awesome. So all the emotions this week. Okay. Why am I saying that as well? Because emotionally, there's such a piece of this talent acquisition when I look at the surge of candidates that are now available. And I'm sure you're seeing the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
The surge of those that have been displaced, right? Caught up in a realignment, right? The RIF, all whatever we want to call it, layoffs. Anybody who's using furlough, I might just make stop using furlough. That's you're not. This isn't COVID furlough. Just stop with that word. So the lives that are now being impacted by what's happening in our general economy, I will say our global economy, because we're having some conversations overseas as well, and with some clients. And please don't think this is just a USA thing. There's stuff happening everywhere, right? In terms of global economy. These are lives. These are the lives of people that are struggling. And here we are as talent acquisition people, right? Going online and sifting through lists and trying to work through this stuff. I have to tell you, I think one of the trends for next year is figuring out ways that the technology will allow us to be human again, as opposed to just merely saying we're sorting for you. Look at all these numbers, because that's basically how we would look at these people, numbers, but somehow figure out how we can make this process human again rather than purely, algorithms. I hope we can really get there.
I think, what I always try to do each and every day in my hiring, and whether it was here at NUS or was it my, previous to that when I was at Fairview, is put the heart in recruiting. If somebody wants to make me that graphic, I'll drop you my email later. But that's where we really need to go in 26 is put the heart back into recruiting. If it's not there already for your organization, it already is for me. I do it each and every day. I mean, I've got a new guy who just started yesterday and he moved his whole family across the state. His kids are starting at a new school this week because of this move. And I'm checking in with him. How are the kids? How is your wife?
Yes.
How did the move go? How did the closings go?
Yes.
What do you need? Do you need an extra day before you start? Do you need to go part-time this week before you go full-time, next Monday? What do you need? Putting the heart in recruitment, in hiring, because we're a small organization. We have 400 employees at 11 locations.
Yeah.
We're not, a global monolith, that, has nationwide locations and hundreds of thousands of employees. So we put that in every day. We want that because our retention is better than our competitors. That's a focus for us.
Yeah.
And
it should be.
It should be. If heart isn't in your hiring today, figure it out. I mean, I look at the news yesterday. You talked about it. I see a lot of rhetoric back and forth.
Oh gosh.
And my biggest tipping point where I teed off, just like I did on the HR Tech thing a second ago, is it's all about it's the hate on both sides. You know what? I want to create a group of just common sense people who want to do the best for people.
Yeah.
When you do the best for people, business succeeds, government succeeds, everything around us is better. When you put the heart in people, and profits come from that.
It will come. And I think collaboration, innovation, all those things that we say are values, they come as a result of doing that. It's interesting. And by the way, thank you, Laura. Great to see you. Dr. V, great to see you. Mark, thank you for your comments. Steve Brown is here. Lord help us. So, there's folks.
Hey, he wants us to have another show.
He is.
I love Steve Brown.
So jealous that he is not on this show. It's outrageous. He can barely see straight.
Imagine the shenanigans of the three of us at one time.
I'm just saying, and 100% there would not be coffee or Diet Dew in his mug. There would absolutely be something a little stronger. I think what you say makes a ton of sense. And I wonder if, and Mark, to your comment around students being worried about the job market right now, right? Like that's not fear mongering. There's reason that they are observing what's happening in their even in their county or state, right? But I'm not necessarily saying that their eyes are on what's happening in Belgium at the moment, or France at the moment, or Venezuela at the moment, or Brazil. I mean, places where there are things also going on. They're looking at, I live in Sheboygan, and what's happening in Sheboygan, right? Like that's what they're looking at. And because it's my favorite city to say, and they're worried. They're worried. They're seeing businesses pull back. They're seeing cuts, 8% of staff, 11% of staff. I mean, we see that companies are already letting us know they're going to cut staff by 18 to 20% by the end of the year. I mean, you're talking
Amazon just mentioned it. Right? They're cutting back on their recruiting team. They're going by return to office. That's how they're shedding. Is return to office to 2 hubs. If you don't go to one of the 2 hubs, you're out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this way I can make sure that you're self-selecting out. Like that's how we're doing it. Colleen, shout out to you. We're so glad you are here, and welcome, and join us every Thursday, by the way.
My buddy Bandy's in here. Good to see you.
Oh, awesome. My gosh, I didn't see everybody here. We love all the folks. Thank you so much for being here. I struggle so much when it comes to trends on talent acquisition, because I know that we wind up cornering it, and I'm not saying it's not important, but we wind up cornering it on tech. Like we wind up looking at tools and tech. But I think we have people who are clamoring for, but I am a person, but my hands are up. I don't know what to do. I am a person. How do I get through all of this muck? When I started out, and I'm older than you, so when I started out in the workforce, like I was going to businesses with my really nice paper resumes and walking in on purpose in the 80s, asking to be considered for a particular role. And I felt more ownership in the process. Even if I was rejected, I felt more ownership in it. I felt more, I don't want to say fully in control, but I felt like I had controls, because it was up to me to get up, drive somewhere, have an interest in a particular company, do my research, walk in with my resume and a cover letter to tell my story, to be considered. I felt like there was some ownership in it with me that maybe is kind of been technologicalized away today. Yeah. And so it makes people feel more disconnected, right?
I mean, I get it. Jessica would, be able to tell when her and I are hanging out at different events, I'll be sitting there and my phone will be blowing up on my Facebook Messenger. It's candidates messaging our Facebook page. They see an ad for a specific position. And they're like, where are you located? What is the pay rate? What's the future of job opportunities? It's like they want it all on a silver platter handed to them. They don't want to go back and say, oh, wait, NUS is hiring. I'm going to go look at their career page, find out more about what's going on. Why would I be applicable to that job? What is the career path? Because we have all those stories out there. They want to just hand it to them. You talk about being able to, back in the day, research off of a 1x1 in the local newspaper. Yes. Have to go find out anything we can, go to the public library, stock them.
Yep.
everything's just readily accessible now. We've gotten away from that.
I love the library. I loved it. I loved going there to do the research. Really, you're right.
Yeah. It's way different now. We've made it too easy in some cases. I do, especially now with all the layoffs. My mom, she'd been working for her hospital, the very first hospital I worked for. She's been there for almost 30 years. It'll be 30 years at the end of next month. She's being laid off middle of next month. And half of her team is being let go. And she's like, would you do a job search session for my teammates?
Oh my gosh, how awesome.
And I'm like, sure. So literally last Tuesday, I went to her house and we invited, people over and we revised resumes. We talked about how to look at job search because many of these people haven't done a job search in today's economy.
And if you've been doing a job for 30 years, and Kyra brings up a great point, right, to complement what you're saying, their last experience, if they've been somewhere 20 years, 30 years, was more on that personal side of things, right? It felt, even if you did back then apply 20 years ago using Monster, right? Let's say that's how you did it, or Career Builder. Even then, it still was more about the organization of a repository. It wasn't doing a bunch of stuff for you. It was just an online way to have a repository. Instead of a stack of resumes on my desk, I have a stack of resumes, in my email or on some platform that I can just look at these resumes. I still had to manually go through them all.
Yep.
We're way away from that, right? Because of the advancement of technology. So what you're saying is really important for kind of knowing your audience. If I'm asking for someone of a particular skill set type, that I know they're going to need 15 years of experience, 20 years of experience for a more senior role. Well, what was that person doing 15, 20 years ago when they started gaining this experience? What was their experience of talent acquisition? Do I have to be thoughtful about meeting people in that? And when I think too about specific people groups, like veterans come to mind for me always, like service members, like they're already in many ways statistically operating in a deficit when it comes to being adept at sort of translating what they know how to do onto these platforms to make sure that they can be seen that way. I know you see that all the time.
Oh yeah, we do a ton in the service to civilian world. I speak at air bases or military installations across the country, and one to come work for us specifically, but then two, how to navigate that. So it is different, but it isn't that different.
No, right.
It's a simple pivot, but they're so used to their world that getting the tools and the tactics for the civilian side is a big assist for them. Yeah, we're happy to do it. But you see this all the time. Like talking to my mom's group, they were so used to getting their job advice from What Color's Your Parachute?
Oh my gosh,
Richard Bowles. I mean, come on. My parents had the book. Yeah. I had the book.
Yeah.
They have newer versions still now, but the tactics were different then when they were reading it versus it is today. And investing time to somebody like that, when we look at all the hate that we had yesterday in a variety of different places, giving 5 to 10 minutes of your time today to a job seeker, fills you here and fills them there.
Yes. Even if there's nothing that will directly affect you, right? Like it's not going to help you with any wrecks that you may have. That's not what it's about. And I think that's one of the things I want to make sure Chris is here with us today.
Yes, Chris is a good buddy. Good to see you.
Yeah, Carissa, I really appreciate you giving, a hey to Josh.
Hey, you know what?
I just want to make sure,
Carissa, audience once in a while.
Josh appreciates all the work that he's doing here. Thank you for saying hey to Josh.
I love it. Just you can bring more of those. Feel free.
Hello, I'm here.
Who are you? You're John. Who again?
What's your name again, buddy?
John.
The
Brown's twin.
Never. The reality is, we're the worst. He is never going to come on this to listen to the show again because
yeah, he
I
will.
can already hear him banging his desk right now because of the commentary. I find that one of the trends in connection to what we've been talking about is and this is not altruistic. I think it's genuine because we've got candidates because we have an increased number. We've really got to help them with telling their story. And so I think one of the trends that we'll see in talent acquisition, if not Q4 of this year, starting to pick up, and your example is with like your mom and some of her colleagues, but certainly coming into next year around helping people craft their story. What does, yes, that includes the resume, but what kind of persona, right, can they express in the work that they've done? How does that align with what some job opportunities are at the moment? What does it mean for me to think about opening or doing my own thing, right? Because sometimes that happens to people.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to become a consultant. Well, hold on. I'm great, but like, what does that mean? Do you know how much business development you're going to have to do as a consultant? Are you ready for that? I've got lots of friends. Great. Having lots of friends doesn't necessarily mean lots of work. Like there's a difference. And so I think these like informational things are probably going to be something that we have to be willing to be a part of. And I think more people are going to do that in a gracious sort of way.
Yeah. And last night, I had a guy reach out to me on LinkedIn. He was our sound and video partner for some of the branding stuff that we've done at NUS. And he's applying to a new job with another organization. And he's like, Josh, you used to work there. Do you have any contacts there? And I literally just picked up the phone. I called him. I said, you didn't think I'd call you this fast, did you? And he's like, no, but I love the fact that you did it. And we had a 45-minute conversation about his interest in that new job, but also how to do business development in his video and sound product or work better, because he was attached to an agency before and he wasn't getting the business that he had expected. And he doesn't like biz dev. It's not in his wheelhouse.
Right.
Video and sound and creativity is his wheelhouse. So we talked about a couple different ways for him to build that business potential. So he not only got career advice in his current job search, network, connections in that, but then also how to look at things a little bit differently from his biz dev side. He's like, he emailed me again this morning. He goes, thank you for the time last night.
Yeah.
He goes, I got so much out of it, but more importantly, it was just good to hear your voice and hear positivity in a time where I'm not in that space.
It's, first of all, I love that you do that. And I've known you a long time. And I know probably people don't realize how many conversations you're willing to have with people and to try to help them. So, I mean, I do miss the job hunt chat and those kinds of, there was so much information given in those days, right? Like so many ways that people were helping one another.
13 years job hunt chat was running every Monday for 13 years.
And I know that there's people here who were part of that.
Yeah. Yep. There were many people that were on here that joined in, co-moderated with me, co-moderated with Rich when he ran it before. Jessica Miller-Merrill, who was a co-moderator of it for a long time. Job Hunt Chat was I've thought about ways to bring it back, and so it's still percolating in the back of my mind. We'll see what happens.
We have to do something. I think you should go live with it at some conferences. Yeah. That would be something that would be really fun to see as something for next year. Like just a tour that you get to do with some folks like JMM and others to like go around and do this. I think would be fun.
All right, Carissa, you want to talk ghosting? We're going to rip the Band-Aid off here for a second. I appreciate you bringing this up because I already had it in my show notes for today. I'm hearing people in various parts of the country talk about ghosting legislation to businesses. I understand the root of where it's coming from. We don't want to do candidates a disservice and ghosting them in, the lengthy part of the process. it's easy in your systems, your HCMs, your ATSs, to be able to set automatic, notifications. That if companies aren't doing that, that's on them.
Right.
However, if we're going to talk about ghosting, we got to talk about it on both sides of the road. Not only the recruiters, but also the candidates. Just this week alone, I had 3 candidates no show for an interview.
It's crazy to me.
So if we're going to regulate business and put fines by the government on companies ghosting candidates, we have to do something we have to do something on the candidate side as well. Whether it's impacting their unemployment benefits, something, because the companies are investing their time too to do that, taking their time and their revenue to find people. We need to do some things on both sides. We need to have the conversation for both sides of the road, not just the companies, but the candidates as well. Off my soapbox.
No, I think it's a fair soapbox. I mean, if the sort of the premise behind the entire legislation or consideration of is unfair and maybe a deceptive practice to ghost, then you're right. It is something applicable to both sides because one doesn't happen without the other, right? Like if I need to hire, I need to be able to talk to the candidate on the other side. And if the candidate's looking to work for a particular organization, they've got to interview with somebody from the company. Like, we need both sides to be there. Now, I know, and I think this trend is going to actually slow down, if not pretty much stop coming into next year, which is the evergreen posting of roles. I think you're going to see a definite downturn in the amount of organizations that seem to perennially leave certain jobs up all the time. They're going to say, well, we always have a customer service rep role out there because we'll just always take resumes and applications for that. Or we have a, whatever, XYZ role. I think you're going to see companies pull back on that. One, because there's a cost to managing evergreen job opportunities.
Yeah.
And if we're in a place where we're trying to cut expenses, that's an easy place to start to cut some of those expenses. And that's not just posting on Indeed or something like that. There's cost there, but even the cost of having an employee sit and go through some of those things. Yeah. That time needs to be assigned to something else. They don't need to sit there and do that. I also think it's because to what you and Chris are talking about here, this idea of dishonesty in the job process. These evergreen jobs, there are people who apply to them. They don't hear anything ever other than, we received your application, within the first 24 hours of putting it in. They hear nothing because they're not hiring for it right at this moment. And so it just came in and we acknowledged we got it. There is no process to kind of alert you to because we're not hiring for it right now. We just like to gather resumes. I think that, along with the ghosting, I think that that's going to stop or really go down to a trickle next year.
Well, if we're going to talk about next year, should we talk about our good friends at Indeed for a second?
Why would we do that? Why?
Should we talk about Talent Scout that's going to roll out in January of 2026?
Oh, amazing. Well, we've paid for Talent Scout because the prices at Indeed have tripled, but go ahead.
Well, in talking with my account rep yesterday, because FutureWorks is going on right now in Louisiana, which I wouldn't mind a fresh plate of beignets. I mean, if they want to send it to me, great.
I mean, come on.
A mountain of powdered sugar.
I mean, we could have Robin. I could have Robin send them by the end of today.
Yeah.
We could have Robin do that.
That'd be great. It's going to be free in January for those that are already on, Indeed Apply programming. But then they're going to roll out the cost about April. They don't know what the cost is going to be right now. So they're going to get you hooked on the crack fix, and then they're going to shoot the cost up.
Yep.
Now, the issue that they're going to run into is how do they prioritize companies who have high spend budgets but don't have Indeed Apply because their HCM or ATS provider doesn't interact that way.
Yep.
So they've got a mess on their hands for right now.
And I think the amount they need to make this transition. I get it, but because the amount of people who are using Indeed really as just as a job board it's still pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
It just went from Monster Career Builder over to Indeed now, and it's the same effectual usage, right? As far as a lot of companies, and job boards are, it's just not, it's not it anymore, right? And so Indeed is trying to make this transition. I don't know that financially they're going to be able to make it work.
When I talking with my rep yesterday, I said, I'm like, explain to me how this is going to, one, it's going to benefit me, because right now the AI sourcing doesn't necessarily work in my place because of blue collar, talent doesn't have profiles outside of Indeed. So it'll be interesting to see how it works. Granted, I'd love to see the reduction in the organic postings that my postings are going head to head with, and
Yes.
driving up my cost. That would be
Yes.
great to see that come down a little bit.
Yes.
I don't know if that's
expensive.
necessarily if that's going to happen through the new Talent Scout platform. But we'll see.
We'll see. And you know what's interesting, and Jess, I want to get to what she just shared. And by the way, Jess, one of the smartest people in this space. So if you don't know Jessica, make sure you connect with her on LinkedIn. But because OpenAI is really coming for LinkedIn. They are coming for LinkedIn. That's their goal, more than Indeed. This jobs platform announcement is all about LinkedIn, because LinkedIn Recruiter is crazy expensive, and not all encompassing. Some of the role, like you know this from some blue collar jobs, and so like they're not all going on Indeed to like put their stuff. You're not going to find them there, and so I'm paying through the nose for LinkedIn Recruiter when a third of my jobs can't be filled by using LinkedIn Recruiter.
I have LinkedIn Recruiter, and I would say maybe 3 or 4 of my jobs go up on there every year. That's it.
How many hires do you do a year, roughly?
High point 120. I average about 80. When I got here, it was 40, and when I left healthcare, I was doing 40 a month myself. So a huge downshift in what we're doing. But through process improvement and change in methodologies, we've doubled, if not tripled, our hiring efforts.
And your process, yes, has improved, but your candidate pool where you are at NUS, like it hasn't changed. It's not that everybody now is going on to LinkedIn for you to do that. It's not that they have adopted a different way of doing it. You have to find them in other ways.
Yeah, we have to. I mean, if they're not on Indeed, we have to do things like programmatic advertising to infiltrate the geographical areas that they're in. We're, putting our fence around our competitors, so when they go on to ESPN at work, they see our job posting. We're on Facebook like crazy. The only thing is we get a lot of redundancy. We get a lot of stuff that we can't use. Because we have to cast a wider net, because they just don't have digital footprints. If I'm working in the finance, legal, communication, business, sales environments, great. You'll have, zillions of applicant potential by their digital footprint. But in the blue collar space, forget it. Same thing with healthcare. Healthcare, care providers don't have the digital footprint like other sectors do. And so in healthcare, we had to do the same thing. We had to be creative in how we do those things.
I'm going to make another trend prediction based on some of that. And I know you have some notes. I want to make sure we get to some of the other things you have there, by the way.
We've already hit 3 or 4 of
them. I'm going to make a prediction connected to our conversation about Indeed. I see, in terms of a cost-saving measure, when your candidate pool rises, right? And so we're back to, I was mentioning Sackett before. I never even finished my thought. We're going, the scales are turning, right? We had less candidates, more jobs for a long while now, and now it is, I think this month or August, it flipped for the first time back to the other way. And we've been through this cycle before. It's a cycle, folks. That's why it's called a cycle. So we're back to the more candidates than jobs available. We just tipped that again. So in that kind of environment, you've got organizations obviously knowing that there's more people available because they're internally hearing from more candidates, and they're trying to save money. So my prediction is we are going to see less spend with job boards. So that's Indeed, for all intents and purposes, and some stuff on LinkedIn. We're going to see some of a curtailing of spend there, and we're going to go back to an enhanced career site within the company. And so companies like Happy Dance and the like, that their focus is to come in and support organizations in developing a robust career platform, career site platform, and for the accepting of applications, and they could pipe it right through into your ATS, whatever it is you're using, or module on your HRIS. And the dollars, a fraction of it, is going to go towards making us our own keepers of our advertising, because people are going to be searching XYZ kind of position in a particular area, and that job site will get crawled within your own careers page. That we're going back to that.
That'd be cool.
That is my prediction. I just think it's a cost saver to do it that way. And there are companies that are uniquely designed to just focus on that for organizations and get them up to speed. And it is working. They don't need, if AI is as robust as it is, if I go on ChatGPT and I ask it to show me jobs in the Philadelphia area where, for this kind of role with this kind of experience, it's crawling the web. It's not saying, let me go to Indeed only and see what it has. It's crawling everything, and it's going to give you those results.
Yeah, I've always given people a variety of different tools, whether it was, the old providers I used to work for, which no longer exist. But because there are different things out there, that you're welcome, Steve. There are frontline workers out here, blue collar folks making fantastic pizzas at La Rosa's in Cincinnati. Let's
not
get it.
Working remotely. They actually have to come in and make the pizza. It's not a Zoom pizza. They're really there.
We saw that during COVID, people were making pizzas out of their own home and lowering them down cables in New York City and such.
Yeah. Actually, that they were lowering some other things down on those cables, by the way.
Oh, well, we won't talk about what they're cultivating inside their homes.
Everybody's fire escape had the same potted plants on them. It was amazing.
One of the things that I focused on, and it's going to continue into 26, and we're seeing it, we're hearing about it everywhere we turn in different conferences, is skills-based hiring.
Oh, yeah.
Here at NUS, obviously being blue collar, you can't get a lot of diesel experience at Harvard, at Penn, at Michigan State, at, the shoe at Ohio State, Mr. George Rogers. It takes going to either learning it hands-on or going to a specialty school to learn diesel.
Are you hiring a lot of diesel mechanics right now, by the way? Do you have
it's slowed. It is slowed.
Okay.
From the last year and a half. I mean, we were doing, 50 to 60 diesel mechanics a year. It's definitely slowed because business has slowed. Am I still spending most of my day sourcing and hiring or looking for diesel mechanics? Yes, I am. Because
I have one for you, by the way. I'll send
it on over. Send it on over. We can put him in Missouri, would be the closest to you in Florida, but
he's in New Jersey right now.
Oh,
but
perfect.
Yeah.
Jess, you can take your USC and put it in your pipe and smoke it. Go Notre Dame.
Don't think she won't. Don't think she won't.
She wants UC San Diego for her kid who's 8 years old. Not USC.
There are worse places.
I know. She's giving me crap because I'm a big Notre Dame guy and she's taunting me with USC. Anyway, moving on. Skills-based hiring. For those of us in the blue collar, we've been doing it for ages. Healthcare is skills-based hiring. Granted, they have to go to school for a lot of things and have to get certified, but it is literally about the patient touch and practice. It is touching the trucks. What are you good at? That's how you get hired in these areas. Frontline workers. It's not because you have anthologies of experience from the local school making pizzas for La Rosa. You can't get that at a school. You have to be in the workplace, learn that skill, and deliver it. So skills-based hiring, whether it's IT, finance, you're going to see more of that and less focus on what pedigree school did you go to, but moreover, what deliverables did you bring in So that way we can drive success going forward to 26, 27.
26, we better get back to RJPs. These realistic job previews have to be the way we go.
Yeah.
RJPs for the win, because we've got to, part of what you're obviously, I agree with what you're saying. And part of the reality is if someone is good at making a pizza, and Steve is on his way out, so let's talk about him now.
Hi, Steve.
If someone is good at making pizza, there is a difference between someone being skilled at making pizza and someone who is good at making pizzas on a Friday night.
Yeah.
There is a difference. I'm not downplaying their skill in making pizza. I now need to look at their skilled ability to work within a high volume environment, right? With time constraints. That's another area. And so that realistic job preview is important. That person is walking in with a skill set, but it may not be able to be applied in the way in which they thought it could. They may have to work on volume production of pizza rather
show
than
or dough
pizza.
You want a guy that can show making the pizza, or you guys want that makes the dough, the cashola on that Friday night.
Right. And we have to be like honest about that. And I want someone to come in. I'm not mad at someone who's like desires to use that skill set of making pizza. Let me put you on a Friday night to shadow what, yes, it's called a trail for those who are from restaurant background. You pay them as a 1099 for the evening. You don't have to put them in as a new employee. Just, let them work 4 hours on a Friday night and see if they like the job as much as you like them on the job. Those realistic job previews are valuable for the organization, but also for the candidate, because this person has been spending all this time trying to apply, to finish this example, for a bunch of pizza making jobs, and they're not getting called. And maybe it's because they haven't done a great job of highlighting their ability to use their skills in the context of the organization. We've got to help people do that.
I mean, in my interviews, I'm like, what are you good at fixing trucks? And then I ask, what do you suck at, in that same line? My managers don't like asking the candidates, what do they suck at? I'm like, I want to know. They're going to answer it. If I phrase it nice and, look at that right there.
This guy.
Passive aggressive.
Right so there. Passive aggressive. And also texting me. So, it's like, just can't stand it. The reality of these trends, though, obviously, right, within organizations is leadership around that. And so I just want to call out like all of these talent acquisition leaders that are really working hard to make a difference in the organizations that they support, or if they're on the consultative side of things, the organizations that they're partnering with. Like, shout out to all those TA leaders trying to make this change. So, please listen to what Josh is sharing. Please listen to Brian Fink. Please, if you pay attention to Adam Posner and some of the work that he does, and Joel Augie, and again, tons of talent acquisition folks, Brandon Jeffs, and a lot of these folks are putting out a whole bunch of content regarding what's happening in the marketplace. I'm not saying that they're exclusive, but start there. You'll see some other ones that you will like as well. Look for these kinds of perspectives, because I think some of this from a trend standpoint is also going to be about what makes sense for my organization. Yes, there could be 10 trends that are happening, but only 3 of them might be relevant to your organization. So lean into those 3.
Yep. Go what works for you. Not every statistic is going to align with your business. Do what works for you, or find somebody who resonates with it and pick their brain. Ask them questions. Many of us in this space are approachable. Some of them are a little crazy. We won't name names.
Many.
But reach out. If you've got a question, my line is always open. Drop me a LinkedIn invite. Ask me a question. I'm happy to answer it.
DM. He takes DMs on OnlyFans. Like, ask his questions. Ask the questions there. I had to come back to it. You know that.
I figured you would.
Josh Rock, what a fast hour. Thank you so much, buddy, for hanging out with me today. I really, really appreciate that.
You know it. I'm ready to pinch hit anytime. You let me know.
I will. Jackye will be all sweating it, though, because she'll watch this and be like, he can't come back. It's too good. Okay, so.
Well, I'm not Jackye.
You are not Jackye. All right, everybody, have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your
Everyone.
day.
Cheers.
Bye.